The COVID-19 pandemic changed the world as we knew it. Now many people are left to wonder what the future holds. Will we ever get back to normal, or is this a new era?
I don't think anytime soon we'll be going back. I think this virus and this pandemic has showed people, businesses that we can operate at a greater distance and still be successful. I know entities like schools are struggling a lot. I know a lot of students, including myself, are making the most out of the virtual learning that we're having, and it's not really conducive.
I know mental health is a really big thing right now, and that's something that I've kind of talked about in with my peers and at my school. And one of the biggest things is about this whole idea of still making an impact in the midst of being kind of in a, I don't want to say stagnant, but being in a stagnant kind of time period where we're living in a pandemic. Things are completely different. No one's ever experienced this for this amount of time. And so I think that's one of the biggest themes.
Until the day comes when the pandemic is behind us, it is important to consider how this year will affect our health and our nation moving forward.
I think one of the biggest things for me is that people already have a stigma about going to the doctor or going to receive health care, or what there's lack of opportunities. They don't have access to insurance, things like that, that affects underrepresented communities. And I think the biggest impact, people, especially now, don't want to have to go to the doctors just for minor things. I think that's a very big issue. So now we're going to see some gaps where people are missing where they should have went to the doctor or they should have received care. They're either afraid. We have people who are afraid to get vaccines, which is completely understandable at this time. You just don't know what's being done, especially with underlying things that's taking place in the government.
The bad thing about implementing a vaccine so early is that Americans won't really know the long distance outcomes, the longevity of someone's life once they have taken this, because we've only had a couple months for trial. So we really don't, I guess, there hasn't been enough time to develop a vaccine that will truly be completely safe and beneficial. But I think it's good that we're moving towards steps. Me personally, I do not think I will be getting it.
We can't live in fear. We have to take precautions and still go to the doctor when we need to. And I especially hope, for me, I feel like at the governmental level, I hope that more people have access and opportunities to healthcare, health insurance, that they have opportunities. You know, especially for me, pediatrics is a huge thing. I think there's no reason why children shouldn't be able to receive healthcare, anyone in general, but especially children who are growing as children grow.
So I don't think we're going to be going back anytime soon, but I think this awakened the eyes of Americans and American businesses, the United States, to show us that we can take a better precaution, I guess, hygiene wise, is the overall, as to how we can still run the world in the midst of a pandemic and once we get out.
As our nation moves forward, there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
As a nation, we can move forward by taking into account the true history of the United States and work to inform the youth and the public about it in a way that not makes them feel bad about what happened, but allows them to understand. And then that can help people understand why Black people and minorities, but more specifically Black people, act the way they act and are the way they are.
I think everything has really come to a head. The thing for me is, I feel like these issues have always been a problem, and they've been exacerbated just to a whole nother degree based on leadership right now. So I think that it's so hard. I think one of the biggest problems is systematic racism, and so many things stem out of that: poverty, healthcare issues, education, disparities. So I feel like a big way to move forward, if at all possible, is for people to actually take charge in their opportunities to, like, we have the power to go vote. We have the power to elect officials who are going to represent our points of views. And I just think it's so important to become educated and understand beyond just the presidential level, even in your local elections, being able to understand the people that are in positions of power.
This election brought out the worst in people, and sure, both sides, but I think there was one party in America that was led by someone who, and it's not even a question, who is not a good person. It's not a nice person. He has said racist, homophobic, sexist things. And I think people did not choose kindness when continuing to support him. So kindness would describe that situation. Kindness also just being considerate for the public, wearing a mask, social distancing. It's not that hard to wear a mask. I know I personally don't enjoy wearing a mask, so I stay home because when I'm home I don't have to wear a mask. But if I do have to go out, I put a mask on. Life is great. You can still breathe in it. I have asthma. I can still breathe in it. And if I can't breathe, I shouldn't be where I need to be. I'll just stay home. But just being considerate of others, because the mask isn't protecting me, it's protecting everyone around me. And I would hope that they choose to wear a mask to protect me as well. So yeah, kindness